I'm so pleased to take you overseas for a conversation with Dr. Raolee. I love that name, Olayeye. Her book is a book that I think everybody should have, but definitely people dealing with sickle cell in their family. The name of her book is Tanwa, the story of a 5-year-old living with sickle cell. And you think about that, and we've talked about that so often on this show, the disease, and what does that mean? Dr. Rao, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a privilege, a pleasure. Thank you. An honor. Thank you.
It's an honor to have you on the show. So first of all, let's talk about your story and your family history, because it's pretty significant as to why you went in this direction.
Yes. So I'm a 55-year-old sickle cell warrior. The third daughter for my mom, and my mom had 6 of us. 2 of us had sickle cell, myself and my youngest sister, who passed away after a year and a half. Because her body couldn't cope with the sickle cell. I have 4 brothers, and pretty much I told my family story in the book, my first book of Tanwa. It talks about how sickle cell affects the sufferer, but in the book, I did not want to promote pain because sickle cell comes with a lot of pain. I wanted to talk about hope. I wanted to talk about possibilities. And the message that runs through the first book is laughter is the best medicine, because my mother always said that. My mother said laughter is the best medicine. She says, count your blessings. She says, God always answers prayers. So I wanted to talk about the disease, but also put positivity within it.
And so Tanwa is really you. It's based on your life and that journey of getting sickle cell, and through the eyes of a child too, because this is often when you find out, and it's got to be really a lot of questions, a lot of things that kids don't understand. So I love it what your mother told you about laughter being the best medicine, because she was trying to really pull you up and pull you through that too. So tell us about the character and what happens in the book.
Yeah, so the character is a playful, intelligent young girl who likes to play soccer with her brothers because she's the only girl and she doesn't understand why she can't do everything everybody else does. And she asked her mother, why am I different? Is it just because I'm a girl and everybody else is a boy? And, her mother explained that you have this thing in your body called sickle cell. So right from a young age, I knew I was different from my brothers. I knew I was different from my cousins, from my friends. And I think I finally found somebody else with sickle cell when I was admitted in hospital. And then actually, I started meeting more people with sickle cell. Tanwa loves reading a lot because, like, when I'm sick and I'm in hospital or at home in bed, the only thing I can do is read. So, yeah, I read a lot as a child. I like to play. I like to play soccer. I like to play with dolls. I did not like to eat. I had a very poor appetite. And that actually goes with sickle cell. The sufferer has very poor appetite, but we also have something called pica, which means our body craves for something that is not, is not supposed to be eaten, like chalk or pencil or wood or, But most kids do that anyway, but it's very, very common with children with sickle cell.
Wow. And so in the book, it's good. You learn that journey, and your journey included that you grew up in Nigeria. Your mother, takes you through sickle cell. You have your own daughters. You have a robust career in what you're doing in STEM and robotics, and have traveled all over the world. And that's why we're catching up with you. You're such a jet setter, all over Europe and everything else. So congratulations on that. But see, you're also the picture of someone living with it and thriving. So that's the thing. I think there's misconceptions too about living with the disease. What would you say are the biggest misconceptions?
Well, one of the biggest one is people think that people with sickle cell are lazy, but we're not lazy. We're really hardworking like everybody else. We want to make a living. We want to, find our own way. But the thing about sickle cell is the red blood cell in our body is like half what it should be in the normal human size. So, for instance, I'm supposed to be between 12 and 15. I can't remember the calibration, but I'm usually 6 or 7. So I have less than half of what I should have in my body, which makes me tired. There's less oxygen going around my body. I get dehydrated easily, so I have to drink water. So people with sickle cell may appear, tired or lazy, but we're not lazy. I just need to put that out there. It's just that the body can only do what the body can do. It's like driving a car with half tank, or driving a car that, is not serviced and, is just kind of being pushed. So that's what really happens. We just can't do it physically. And I think, like, for me in particular, the amount of stuff I do, even people that don't have sickle cell don't do half as much as I do. I kind of try to prove everybody wrong. And I remember my mom used to say when I was younger that you need to know your limits. And I'm like, why should I have a limit? So I do. And I have something on my LinkedIn that says limitless. I like to live a limitless life.
Well, you can tell, you can feel that joy, definitely. I want to tell everyone, Tanwa, the story of a 5-year-old living with sickle cell. You can get it on Amazon, of course, Barnes and Noble, wherever great books are sold. And there's another misconception about sickle cell that you told me about. If you have sickle cell, you have to be very careful of not marrying or having a partner with sickle cell, right? Why is that?
Yeah, because sickle cell is an inherited disease, so it's passed on genetically. So both my parents had the traits. They're both AS, and I got S from each parent. So now that I have my own kids that are both sickle cell traits, they have to be really careful to check that their partners do not have the trait, because there is 1 in 4 chances of having a child with sickle cell if you have a child with someone with sickle cell. Have a child with someone with a trait. So, yeah. And another misconception is that sickle cell is only in the Black race. That is not true. People in the Mediterranean, people in Middle East. I worked for a year in Bahrain, and that was the first place ever in the whole world that I found a hospital that had a whole building dedicated to inherited blood disorder. So sickle cell is all over the world, and because of intermarriage, it's crossing race boundaries. So, we all need to know about sickle cell.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to make sure we mention your second book. So, you start with Tanwa, and now she's going to go to school. Tell us about that.
Now Tanwa goes to school because I want to talk about the challenges of a sickle cell warrior, right from kindergarten level. So it started talking about how Tanwa had to be withdrawn from preschool because she had too many sickle cell crises. It's called crisis when we have pain in our joints. We call it crisis. So she was withdrawn from pre-K just to get stronger, and then she went back into kindergarten. And in kindergarten, the teachers and the nurses and everyone in the school had to know about her health in case she goes into a crisis. And in the book, during the PE, she went into a crisis, and her friends called the attention of the teacher. They called the nurses. They took her to the sick bay and took care of her, called her parents to come in and, took care of her. But one thing that helped me a lot as a child is my father was a medical doctor. So I had, care right there at home. And he did his best not to put me on the highest pain relief, because sickle cell comes with a lot of pain. As a parent, you want to give your child the highest pain relief to just, stop them from having pain. But, I learned from an early age how to manage my pain, without taking too much high dose medication.
Yeah, which is wonderful. That was in a sense a good advantage there for a disease that you were dealing with. Speaking to you has just been absolutely wonderful. You're such an inspiration. And as I said, you travel all over the place. You're based in Houston. You have your 2 daughters, and you're really trying to get the word out. And I think these books are very, very important. Please, please, please support this. Tanwa, both of the adventures. And again, I mentioned this, but you can get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Thank you so much, Dr. Rao.
Thank you for having me.
Visit www.greatwritersmedia.com. Email us at info@greatwritersmedia.com. Call us at 877-600-5469. Subscribe now.